Breaking news! Things are heating up behind the scenes in Patriots Nation. Sources close to the locker room say the energy is sky high, practices are intense, and players are promising that this season will be different. And honestly, there's something in the air. A spark, a fire, a Super Bowl kind of vibe. But before we go any further, have you smashed that like button yet? If you believe the Pats have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl, show your support. For real, I believe with all my heart. If you're with me, drop this in the comments. Go Pats! I believe! Because when Patriots Nation stands united, the impossible is just another challenge. Stay tuned, big things are coming. Is Mike Vrabel about to pull a draft night shocker that rewrites the Patriots' entire 2025 season trajectory? Patriots fans, you need to hear this, because the strategy coming out of Foxborough isn't just raising eyebrows, it's setting off alarm bells. In his recent pre-draft presser, Vrabel didn't offer just a few vague hints. No, he delivered a carefully coded message that's now got fans and analysts scrambling to decode the Patriots' true draft intentions. And trust me, if you're assuming a straightforward fill-the-gap strategy, you're going to be stunned. The buzz? Vrabel and executive Elliott Wolf are leaning toward a draft philosophy that centers not on need, but on value. We certainly want to pick the best player as many times as we can, Vrabel said, and while that may sound like standard coach speak, in the context of the Patriots' dire positional needs, it's actually a seismic statement, especially when you realize what it might mean at pick number 4. Let's not kid ourselves, the Patriots' offensive line situation is bordering on disaster. Watching 17 games of Vederian Lowe at tackle again? It's enough to send shivers through New England. Offensive tackle has to be a top priority. The names in the mix, Arm and Mebo, Will Campbell, aren't just solid prospects. These are NFL-ready starters who could anchor the line for a decade. And yet, they're not the best player available if you look at the big board. That title might belong to running back Ashton Jeanty. Yes, a running back. At pick number 4. Let that sink in. Jeanty is undeniably electric, Heisman finalist, do-it-all threat out of Boise State. But this isn't Madden. You don't burn a top 5 pick on a compact, pass-catching back when your trenches are bleeding and your wide receivers are a question mark. And yet, Vrabel's comments suggest the Patriots could do exactly that. Why? Because best player available is the hill Vrabel appears ready to die on. He was clear. It's about talent, not need. If that talent is a running back, then so be it. Now let's be fair, this isn't about disrespecting Jeanty. The guy is an absolute mismatch nightmare. Vrabel even hinted at his kind of impact, calling out the value of a running back who can play all 3 downs, catch the ball, and create mismatches. That screams Jeanty. But let's also be real. This is a team that needs a foundational offensive lineman, a legit WR1, a solid left guard, and a long-term solution at defensive tackle, with Christian Barmore's injury status still in the air. And it doesn't stop there. If the Patriots follow this best player route, then trading down, a move many fans are desperate for, might be off the table too. Vrabel didn't confirm or deny the possibility, but his language suggested that trade talks are still a little early, and that the real decisions won't come until draft night itself. That's not exactly the proactive war room mentality some were hoping for. So let's dig deeper. If we're talking BPA, best player available, then who are the names truly on the board? According to ESPN's current prospect rankings, it's Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren, and Jeanty in the top 5. Not a single offensive tackle. That means if the Patriots stick at 4 and go BPA, Mebo and Campbell could be passed over entirely. Now imagine this, Carter and Hunter go early. That leaves Mason Graham, Warren, and Jeanty, none of whom fill a primary Patriots need. But if Vrabel's philosophy holds, one of them might get that call. And that brings us back to Jeanty. Jeanty's game is undeniable. Quick feet, elite vision, pass-catching ability that would make James White proud. He's a plug-and-play offensive weapon in the mold of Christian McCaffrey, but New England isn't the 49ers. The Patriots aren't a plug-and-play away from playoff contention. This is a rebuild. And if you're using pick number 4 on a running back during a rebuild, you better be 100% sure you've already solved your trenches, your receivers, and your pass rush. Spoiler alert, they haven't. Here's where the rubber meets the road. Vrabel mentioned wanting a running back. That much is clear. But he also said that's individualized based on how good the player is. Translation, if Jeanty is available and the Patriots are sold on his all-around value, he's not off the board. Not even close. But is that smart football? The answer depends on what kind of team you think the Patriots are right now. If this team is still reeling from missed draft picks, inconsistent quarterback play, and glaring gaps in protection, then picking a running back at 4 isn't just risky. It's a misfire. Plain and simple. And look, fans aren't stupid. Patriots Nation has watched this team pass on clear needs before in the name of upside. Sometimes it works. But more often, it leaves holes that never get filled. And now, with 9 draft picks and the 4th overall selection, there's a golden opportunity to rebuild the right way, positionally, strategically, intentionally. Yet the vibe out of Gillette? It feels more like roulette. So here's the question. Are Vrabel and Wolf serious about building a team? Or are they chasing headlines? Are we about to see a franchise-defining moment in Patriots draft history? Or a costly blunder that sets the rebuild back another 3 years? And most importantly, what do you think? Should the Patriots draft Ashton Jeanty at number 4 if he's the best player available? Type D for draft, P for pass. Drop your take in the comments and let's settle this like true Patriots fans, with passion, debate, and that unshakable loyalty to the Flying Elvis. Part 2 drops soon, and trust me, things are only getting spicier. Because here's where the whole strategy starts to get really murky. If Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf are legitimately thinking about taking someone like Ashton Jeanty at pick number 4, we need to seriously question whether the current leadership is prioritizing short-term excitement over long-term infrastructure. Think about what that says. You're staring down a draft board loaded with potential franchise cornerstones, elite left tackles, top-tier edge rushers, versatile defensive linemen, and instead, you go running back? It would signal a fundamental misread of where this team is. It would signal that we're playing fantasy football instead of actual football. And that's dangerous, because this isn't a luxury pick team. This isn't the Chiefs or the Eagles sitting pretty in the back of the first round with a loaded roster and the freedom to gamble. This is a Patriots team that's still recovering from the aftermath of whiff drafts and post-Brady instability. And yet, all signs point to them treating this pick like a cherry on top rather than the foundation of a rebuild. Now let's rewind a bit and consider the trade-down scenario. A lot of fans, maybe even most, are hoping the Patriots move down from 4. Why? Because the 8 to 12 range is loaded with hungry teams looking to move up for quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders. If the Patriots play their cards right, they could pick up another high second rounder or even a 2026 first rounder. That's how you rebuild. That's how you build depth. And yet, when Vrabel was asked directly about those trade talks, his response, it's probably a little early for those conversations. He repeated that sentiment several times. Now sure, it's coach speak, but let's be honest, there was no excitement, no tease, no hint that the team is aggressively working the phones. It felt like a smokescreen, or worse, complacency. What happens if Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, the top 2 overall players, are off the board by pick number 4? That's a very real possibility. If the Patriots stay put, who's left? Ashton Jeanty, Mason Graham, Tyler Warren. And while those are premium athletes, none of them solve what really plagues this team. But let's entertain the idea that they stay at 4 and don't take Jeanty. Let's say they go for a trench player like Armin Mebo or Will Campbell, guys who might not be ranked in the overall top 5 but are elite at their position. That would be a deviation from Vrabel's best available doctrine. That would mean need outweighs value, and frankly, that's the smarter play. But is it likely? The truth is, we don't know, and that uncertainty is what has Patriots Nation on